This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Paul Burke, who serves as Senior Director of U.S. Soy Marketing with the US Soybean Export Council, joins us. And Paul, so much focus, and your focus too, has been on China.
Well, what we haven't seen is exports moving at the volumes that we're traditionally used to. Normally at this time of the year, we'd be used to see, China was basically like a huge shop vac sucking soybeans out of the Gulf and out of the PNW, and that's obviously gone. But we are seeing soybeans in all other markets going at a fairly a good pace. We feel very confident that we're going to be filling up a lot of export demand that would traditionally went to Brazil. Those countries in Europe and North Asia and Southeast Asia will have to buy U.S. soy. We think at the end of the year, we're going to look back and say, okay, our exports are at the level that they were a year before, but it's just going to be a lot slower process. And if you're in the upper Midwest at where the pipeline traditionally started, you're seeing a lot of backups, and that's a problem.
In the short term or long term, how do you look at this playing out?
The U.S. soybean industry, we understand the crisis that's taking place out on the farm, and I want all farmers to know that we understand that, and we are working double time in the first year to move the export supply we have. We're going into markets where we've long had a presence, but really promoting the U.S. soy advantage. We're going to be bringing teams to the PNW, promoting the PNW as an export channel for customers that didn't traditionally buy out of the PNW. But in the long term, so moving into the next several years, we're going to be having to develop demand in markets with high populations but low soy per capita consumption. Particularly, we're talking about places like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nigeria, and that's really where a lot of our future investments are going to be going, to show those people how to consume more soy, grow more chickens, grow more fish, and then ultimately have to import more U.S. soy. In all those economies that I mentioned, as people's incomes grow up, they're going to go up. They're going to want to continue to increase their animal protein consumption. Some markets like India, they're not a pork consumer, but there's a lot of opportunities to expand egg production and expand poultry production as well as fish production. And when that economy grows, they consume their soy, and we get market access, we'll see U.S. soy exports explode into that region.
Paul Burke is joining us, Senior Director of U.S. Soy Marketing with the US Soybean Export Council, is joining us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more with Dwayne Taves and Kendall Frazier.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the Soybean Checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil, and the decision continues improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.